Good morning, everybody, and this is your DAX day trade setups for today, the last day of January, January the 31st. So, starting off with the monthly, because it is the last day of the month, just bear this in mind. We had a gap up here to start the year, and we've had a fairly solid move up into this area of resistance here. So, when you look at this chart on the monthly, oscillators group to the downside, strong move up, nice retracement, and it looking like a continuation to the upside. Just bear in mind this area that we're in at the moment, there is a strong amount of resistance. You can see we spent almost a whole year here in 2021 trying to find our feature and trying to sort of build a base here. So that is something that you really need to pay attention to, and it equates to what you're seeing over the last 2.5 weeks. So first week of Jan was obviously a rocket ship, and then we went sideways. So at the moment, oscillator's not offering us anything. There's so much data coming out this week that, and the first bit of data coming out of the Australia, which was retail sales, which is down 3.9% over December. So the question is the rest of Europe experiencing the same drop in retail sales? If that is the case, obviously the pinch is there. We're all feeling the pinch. We can see what the price of food is. We see what the price of fuel is. So, and you can also see the price of your bond going up. So a lot of disposable income that has been tied up in, just living. So if we have a look at yesterday, we had a bit of a pin bar form, but now we've got a bit of a form. This is just based on Australia retail sales that are down at the moment. So I suspect we're probably going to get more of the same, depending what happens with the German data that comes out today. I suppose there's a lot of European data this morning, starting really early, sort of 8:30 my time, so that's 8:30 South African time, which would be 6:30 GMT. Although there's a lot of data that are starting, and we're going to have to wait and see what happens. I don't think it would be wise to try and second guess this. If you look at this on the 3 hour, look at mass ladders, they're just all over the place, not indicating a direction. We're in amongst the moving averages. The only positive thing here is we're above the 155, but that's not enough for me to warrant a long. It's also not enough for me to warrant a short. So last week was sideways, no real opportunity there, and I think this week we're waiting for data. So we're just treading water here, waiting to see what happens. If the data comes out all sort of muted, meek and mild, and you're probably just going to hover around here and then start looking for the next bit of noise to drive this. So I'm very cautious right now. I think it's a wise thing just to sit back and watch what's going on rather than try and get involved. So if you have a look at the hour, you can see yesterday we dropped below. You can see the buyers coming in here. See all these tails and the buyers coming at the bottom of the range. Drove it up back into the middle of the range, closed the gap, or tried to close the gap. I think that's still open on the hour. And then, we sort of just formed a flag, but now that flag has failed. We're heading back to the downside here. But look how the oscillators are separating at the moment. So I'm very, very cautious. I'm not going to chase a short here. Definitely not. I'd want to see a pullback onto structure and a rejection before even considering a short right now. So that's kind of my view right now. There is a bit of a gap to the downside, so we could head all the way back down to this trend line around 15,000. And 15,000 obviously is a big round number, so wouldn't be too surprised for that to happen. But at the moment, moving averages are flat. There's no real direction. A pullback and rejection here, and then a proper rejection off the moving averages, all these lows from yesterday, that could trigger a short, but your short is going to be something like I would say probably 50-point stop loss, and you've been looking for this 15,000 area, so it'll be a 90-point gain. So it's less than a 2-to-1 trade, but that's probably the only little opportunity that I can see right now. But the reality with data is that it could just explode in the opposite direction just as easily as moving to the downside. So there's no clear-cut signal here. I think that's the bottom line. This is sideways. If you just take a deep breath and just zoom out and have a look at what price is doing, forget the fact that it is 240 point range. The reality is it is in a range, it is undecided, and the one thing that is bullish is the fact that we are making higher lows. Drop below yesterday's low, that starts sort of breaking the range to the downside, and that starts setting up a bearish tone. So that's kind of my view at the moment. I think this is, I mean, algorithms are trading this at the moment, so it's pointless trying to even second guess what's going to happen. Wait for the data, let's see what happens. If the data is as expected, you're going to continue like this until the next bit of data comes out. Data is weaker than expected, expect it to fall. If it's stronger than expected, expect it to start knocking on the top of the range again. So that's kind of the reality of where we find ourselves right now. So I'm still sit on hands. I think it would be foolish just to try and jump in here and second guess anything. For as long as we are above and below the moving averages like this on the hour, we are sideways. There's no real direction. And you can see this bar is forming as we're talking, so falling pretty rapidly. But this is still, to me, our close would have been around, would have been around here somewhere. So at the moment we are only down 0.36%, so it's nothing major. It looks major because the range is so tight, but this is still nothing major at the moment. Anyway, so I'm sit on hands. I'm really not interested in this right now. Any rejection higher up here at the open, that would get me looking for a bit of a short, but I'd move my stop to entry as quick as possible. So in other words, pull back into this area, you're going to have a 35-point stop loss, so it's well worth the risk, and aiming for 15,000. That's kind of where I am at the moment. But if it does reverse and we get above the high of today, then you'd be looking for a pullback onto the moving averages here or into any of these tails, and then you'd be looking for a visit to the top of the range at 15,226. So those are the two trades that I can see that if you've got time on the 5, 10, 15 minute charts, you're looking for structure there for that. But that's about the limit of what I see. Anyway, hope it helps you somewhat, and if you are trading, keep those stops really tight. Don't just assume it's going to go in a direction, because there is no clear indication just yet. Hope that helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.